Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Low Carb Lifestyle Podcast. Today, I have a very special treat for you from halfway around the world, the gorgeous Tia Reid. Thank you so much, Tia, for coming on my podcast.
Oh, I'm delighted. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, of course. Well, just to put a little bit of context around why you're here. So, I met you, I was very lucky to meet you through the Nutrition Network, and I've been so inspired by your story, your journey, just incredible transformation in terms of your health and in so many other ways. And I think, what I am passionate about is getting other people's stories out there to show people that there's always possibilities and there's always hope. And I think your story is just such a beautiful example of, of that. I would love you to share. Well, maybe firstly, who are you and what do you do? And then we can get to your amazing transformation story.
Well, I live in the United States in Illinois, and I'm the Director of Nutritional Services at a local critical access hospital. Um, I have recently become a nutrition network advisor, and I've just interested in helping others heal their bodies with low carb, high fat nutrition, with keto
Yeah.
nutrition.
Yeah. So you've obviously healed your body that way.
Yes, yes, it's amazing. I just can't wait to tell you all. It's like ridiculous, all the things that was wrong with me. And
Oh,
I,
go.
the beliefs that were instilled in me by the medical community, that I would never get off. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, all the way. I had, you name it, I had it. It seems just unreal. I had gout. I was on a CPAP machine to help me sleep. Um,
No
Over
way.
160 units by insulin pump, and then I also did injections at night of Lantus. My medicine list was over 20 medications that I was on. I was told that, I had the fatty liver, I wouldn't be able to get rid of that. Um, it was just really sad. And it was just like they were just giving me medications just to, uh, you know, have a slow death. I felt like I gained so much weight. Um, I was just tired and irritated and brain fog, low energy, you name it. And I was in my 40s, when this started happening to me. So I ended up meeting Dr. Cywes, who asked me if I could get rid of my love affair with carbohydrates, and that it sounded like I was a carb addiction. I had a carb addiction. I'm like, carb addiction? What's that?
Mm.
That's not real.
How did you actually come across him
But
in the first place? I'm
um,
curious as to how that happened.
yeah, I have a cousin from New Mexico. He's really into fitness. He's actually a health coach now too. But
Okay.
he said, Tia, he said, I've seen these doctors' videos, and I think you can reverse all these things with proper nutrition. Are you interested? And I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, I'm interested. Let's bring it on. So we gave him a call, and me and my husband listened to him. I also had adrenal insufficiency from having a tumor in my adrenal gland. Uh, so I had all these things working against me, and I just thought these were the cards that I was dealt. But he asked me, the first thing he said was, "Can you get rid of your love affair with carbohydrates? Are you willing to give that up?" And we were like, "Let's do it. Let's try this. Let's see." I mean, nothing else it couldn't hurt me any more than what's already happening. So, um, sat down with my family, let them know I had a carb addiction. I had same as an alcoholic or a drug addict, but mine was with carbohydrates, and they were all on board. Um, I did lie and sneak and hide food, even chocolate morsels from the bag,
Chocolate
and
what?
my daughter busted me. She's like, "Man, mom, you got those chocolate morsels that I baked the cookies with somewhere, because I just bought a bag and they're half empty." So I mean, I went to measures, you know, to get
Mm.
that. because of the high from it. It was
How
killing
long
me.
ago was that? How long ago was that?
Well, when I started my journey, it was 4 years ago, but I had been diagnosed with gestational diabetes with one of the kids, and I should have
Okay.
changed my life then. And because
Yeah,
from
but
there
nobody
on,
told you, did they? No one told
no,
you.
I didn't know that I had a
No.
choice. No one
Mm,
ever gave me a choice
yeah.
um, until I met Dr. Cywes, and he's
So
like,
he
"You have
was
a
the
choice."
first doctor that actually said to you in everything that has happened to you, the first
Hmm.
doctor that actually brought up nutrition.
Yep, yeah, first one, and who thought because I'd been told I'd been yo-yo dieting, I would work out and bust my butt, for hours a day, walking 6 miles a day sometimes, doing the city steps. Uh, I would go for periods of time where I'd exercise like crazy, and then make sure that I ate low fat, low sodium, 'cause that's what I was
Mm,
told to eat.
mm.
Did Weight Watchers several different times, and my symptoms, my diabetes got worse until I was type 2 diabetic. So, who would have thought? It was really hard for me to eat real butter and and eat bacon and because my mind was playing tricks on me that, you you've been eating this other way, you've been told to eat this other way, it's totally different. And then he was told me to eat salt, eat lots of salt. And I was told not to eat salt before. So it was totally uh, against what I had been told to do. So I had to really take on some new beliefs, um, like you've taught
So
me before, in our sessions that you have to take on the new beliefs. If you don't take them on and have insight, then you can't change. And it's been about 4 years now, and I've taken in lots of insights and new beliefs in order to get here today.
yeah, amazing. So take us back to
Mhm.
that conversation. Um, do you remember? I mean, exciting to think that there is now an option, right? That you've been told,
Yes.
look, but
Hmm.
at the same time, you're being told to give up stuff that you feel your life you need for your life, like it's that much a part of you, and having to change, a lifetime's worth of habits. And, did that, I mean, how did that feel? Can you remember, that those early days?
Oh, it was totally hard. It was sad. I would cry. I would cry because
Yeah.
I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm hurting myself. Here I am. I'm eating all this bacon. I'm eating
Yeah.
uh butter and all this meat. I was eating so much meat and the next thing you knew, I felt like exercising. I had gotten to about 225 pounds. I'm about 5'5". Um and I was just miserable. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to walk. I didn't really want to do anything. I started like being a recluse. I wanted to stay inside. Everybody wanted to go do
Mm.
something. Well, I didn't want my picture taken ever. Um,
It's so common. I
it
hear
was
that so often.
body shaming. I just
Yeah.
didn't feel good in my own skin.
Mm,
And it wasn't long after starting this way of eating that I was like, wow, I think I want to get outside a little bit. And the next thing you know, the scale's going down, and never liked stepping on the scale. But then now I was always curious, the 1 week to the next, hey, let's see if there's another pound coming off. And eventually, 80 pounds down, I can go water skiing with my family. I can play with my grandkid. Um, and I feel good about it and I feel happy, you know.
let's just point
Eating,
something out there. Just you mentioned you're a grandma because you
yeah.
look so young. I swear, I know my viewers watching this will think you're late 30s, early 40s, but
Oh, thank
you
you.
are not, and you
I'm,
are a grandma.
yeah, I'm 53. I'm 53.
Amazing.
And
Look at you.
oh, thanks. Thanks. Life is good. I was on so many medications before. I was on several statins. I was on several different I was on Cymbalta and Wellbutrin. I no longer take any of those. I thought I'd be on them for life. This really does changes your life. It heals your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
Mhm.
what most people don't realize too is you go on medication to fix something that isn't able to be fixed by medication. And
Mhm.
it's about just treating the symptoms. But then you end up having to be on a medication for that, what's caused by the first medication becomes this polypharmacy of treating just one symptom after another with medication and medication and medication. And then, to hear how just I say simply, and we know it's not simple, and I'm not simplifying
No.
it, but to just change the way you eat, how it fundamentally can completely change your metabolic health and reverse so much that, you never believed was possible to do.
No. And, being told, by diabetic educators, I mean, I went to big St. Louis, places in St. Louis for this, and I was told to eat, 46 grams of carbs 3 times a day, snack, make sure I snack, don't go 4 hours without eating. And I did what I was told. I could eat popcorn in if I wanted and just give myself insulin, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. I just got sicker and sicker. I had a tumor in my adrenal gland, so I had Cushing's disease. They went ahead and had to remove my right adrenal gland, and my left adrenal gland had been sleeping for so long that it wouldn't work. So I had to take hydrocortisone for 10 years because my body didn't have the fight or flight. I didn't make my own cortisol. So, I was told I was going to be on that forever, and I'm not on that anymore either.
I can't
Eating
believe
this
it.
way. Yeah. I had also 3 grapefruit sized tumors and had a radical hysterectomy. I thought, well, I've gone through all this medical menopause too, but I didn't have any therapy for that because I was on so many medications already. They said it probably wouldn't help me any at all. Uh, Yeah, I also had a large, from my uric acid levels being so high, I had a large kidney stone stuck in my ureter and went septic. Had to be flown out for
Oh,
that and was put on the vent for a couple weeks. And then I've been on a TPN bag for my triglycerides being so high. Was on 20 lipase pills a day to help my food metabolize, which gave me acute pancreatitis. Um, for my 40th birthday, I was actually in the hospital for that. Um, but no one ever said along any of that way, Tia, would you like to try uh, therapeutic carbohydrate restriction? Because I've heard, it can it can help. No one ever offered it to me. And so I'm very passionate about this. I want to help others. I would like to help others, just by telling my story. So anybody listening out there, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
I can't believe it. I mean, I had a little snippet of your story, but I had no idea that it was, that you
Mhm.
were that sick. I mean, wow.
Yep.
Are you off all medications now
Yeah.
or are
Everything,
you?
everything. Not
Everything.
even. Yep. Not even metformin. So that was the last one to go.
Yeah.
Metformin was. So we kept me on that for a while. I do
Yeah.
wear a CGM, which is the best
Mm,
tool uh,
mm,
that I've had to help me manage along the way because I do know what foods might spike. Everybody's bodies are a little bit different. So
mhm,
some things, I know if it spikes my insulin level, I know to stay away from it. I still wear it
mm,
right now. Um, I haven't
yeah.
gotten rid of it yet.
Yep, yep, that's
But
all good, that's all good. So, can you take us back a little bit to that conversation that you had with Dr. Cywes around food addiction?
mhm.
Um, how did he what was the process for you? Because I think, it's definitely a topic that I'm very interested in. I think it is very much misunderstood. And I think it's far greater than we admit. Um, s- are you able to talk us through what he suggested? Like, how did he help you overcome
Well,
that?
he said, Tia, would you give an alcoholic a little bit of alcohol, or would you give a drug addict just a little bit of drug? Well, your relationship with carbohydrates is the same, he said. He said, I don't want you to have a little bit, because you can't have a little bit. So you need to totally eliminate carbohydrates from your diet to get better. And it just made sense to me. So don't do any drive-bys. That if you open the fridge, is it time to eat yet? No. And I'm not even hungry. So why am
Mm,
I in here? The
mm,
addiction is in the brain. And I, just him saying that and putting it out there made me know that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault, you know?
mm,
And, I was
yeah.
like, wow, just a big relief came over me. But, it wasn't my fault that I had the addiction, but now I need to take control of it and be in charge of how I get my recovery. I need to be in charge of my
Mm,
own recovery. So in order to do that, I had to sit down with my family and let them know firsthand, this is it. Uh, this is my chance to get better. I need your help. Please don't bring these items into the house, because just a little bit might make me sick for days. Addiction is very real, and food addiction is real, and people don't take it serious because it's everywhere. It's everywhere in
mm,
my work setting. You go to work and people are bringing treats into work for a special event, um, or just because, and I had to stop. I do work in a kitchen, so I had to stop. I had to tell my staff, I had to come clean with them. Hey, I'm sick and I can't have these things. So please don't bring me big pieces of pie to try. I'm very proud of you all, but I can't have that. So please don't bring
mm,
it.
mm,
And
mm.
they've all been good. So I've had a great support system. So it's really, really important to have support, and to have groups. There's Facebook groups out there. Um, One of the first things I did was join Dr. Eric Westman's keto masterclass. And along that class came support groups. And that was the first time I had been introduced to a support group where people actually tell their stories. You can reach out for advice in the group settings. And wow, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful
Mm,
knowing that there were others struggling the same as me. And we could talk to each other about it. We could reach out to each other for support. So, I mean, that's really great. And just
mm.
talking about it, just talking about your story helps.
Yeah, it
But
absolutely does.
food addiction is a real thing. It's a real serious, and people need to take it serious. We're introduced to these things at such a young age that
Mm,
it seems like it's normal, and it shouldn't
mm.
be. And not only that,
Yes.
but it leads into other things. It's a gateway drug, and it leads into other things like drinking. After so much time of filling my body with carby foods all my life, you get to a certain place where that's not enough and you need more. So the next thing you know, I, drank a lot. I drank and I smoked. One thing led into
Wow.
another.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I don't think people really realize that it is that gateway drug. I mean, it's something that most of us are exposed to at a very early age. If you think about, you know, if you're lucky to be breastfed, great. A lot of
Hmm.
babies aren't. They're formula fed, which is full of sugar and vegetable oils and disgusting, mostly disgusting stuff. And then from there, we go to, carbohydrates, really high refined carbohydrates, rice cereals and stuff like that. And,
Hmm.
like it's obviously not our fault, and it's not our parents' fault either. I mean, of course, every parent's doing what they are told and what they think is the best for their children. But, it does set people up for issues later on. And, I think it's really important to know exactly as you say, it's not your fault. There's nothing to be ashamed about, but you have to acknowledge it and you have to confront it if you want to overcome it. And that is the really hard part, because we know that the addictive brain and the addiction, it will do everything it can to stop you from changing. It doesn't want you to change, right?
That is so right. That is so spot on, because it does. It's like just a little bit's okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next thing you know, oh, well, I already messed up today, so I'll go ahead and just eat what I want the rest of the day. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, well, I've already messed up this week, so I'll just start again the next week.
Yeah.
And the effects just go on, and you're like, really? You just have to have courage. You have to have
Yeah.
courage.
So with your plan, was it kind of like did he take you to, did he say like just do it in one step, or was it a gradual thing for you? How did it kind of look for you,
It
the
was a
changes?
stair step. I even have, like, I wrote it down a little bit, if that's okay, if you don't care,
Yeah, of
me
course.
reading
Yeah.
from that. But like, first of all, it was don't drink anything that has carbohydrates in it. So just don't drink ever anything that has. So you start out kind of like just eliminating that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me, I knew I had the addiction, so I wanted to eliminate everything right away. Not
Mm.
moderation wasn't good for me, because it just kept me sick. It made the process longer. So I started out like that, and then I started out with just meat and fat. Started out just eating meat and fat, and I didn't eliminate diet sodas or Crystal Light at first, because it wasn't hurting me.
What's
It
Crystal
was more.
Light?
Crystal Light is kind of like in America, we can buy these little packets to put in our drinks, and it's like a sugar-free
Oh,
drink in your water
oh,
bottles.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but it didn't affect my blood sugar. And the thing was, we were wanting to get me insulin sensitive again. So then that
Okay.
took a while, and everybody's
Okay.
bodies are different. So it took
Yep.
me a while.
Yep.
So I did have sugar-free Jello. If I felt like I had an overwhelming urge to eat something, I would eat sugar-free Jello. I might have a drink like that. But in between meals, snacking is an emotional vent. So I was taught never snack. I started out eating 3 meals a day, no snacking, and I would eat till I was full, till I was satiated
Mm.
it with enough fat and meat. Which you're not gonna like. You get to a certain point when you're eating meat and you're like, I don't want
Yeah.
no more.
Not even one bite.
And you're
It's so
not even
funny, isn't
one
it?
bite. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm like, wow, I'm full. And then, you're going about your day, and you're like, wow, it's already like 2 o'clock and I haven't ate yet. So, I started out with the 3 meals, but now, to step up the game, we talked about fasting a little bit. And he's like, you could do 16/8. That's not even really a fast. You're sleeping half of it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Uh, so we tried it, and I still do that today. I try not to eat my first meal till about noon or 1 o'clock. And, it's not very big. It's not a very big deal. But what 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 I've been taught to do is, if you do feel hungry before it's time to eat, make yourself what he calls a bridge. So I'll drink some coffee.
Mhm.
Sometimes if that doesn't do it, maybe I'll put a splash of heavy whipping cream in it, and it'll
Mhm.
hold me over for a good hour or two more. Uh,
Mhm.
Maybe a little bit of salt in there. That sounds
Yeah, I've
gross in
heard
your
people do
coffee.
that.
That sounds
Oh, I've
gross,
tried
but
it.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it, but hey,
No.
whatever works. Um,
That's interesting though. So I just want to, just to clarify, that was certainly, I mean, fasting is such a great tool, as we know,
mhm.
and but it's not the first step. And for you, how long roughly down the road was it before you
Um,
introduced fasting?
it was probably I would say a good year and a half or two, because
Yeah.
I had to get my body fat adapted. So
Yeah.
what they call fat adapted. Um,
Mhm.
and once I got that, it was very easy to do some fasting,
Mm.
to implement
Ye
fasting.
Yeah.
Um, and like he said, sit down with a plate, knife, and a fork. sit down and eat your meal. Don't eat it while you're watching TV or eat it in the car while you're driving.
Yeah, be
Sit down and
present.
actually enjoy your
Yeah.
meal.
Yeah.
That you
Yep.
prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm mostly I'm omni carnivore, so I do have veg every now and then, but I'm mostly meat and fat. It's healed my body, and I love it. I love it. But once you get insulin sensitive, it's good to have a little bit of carbohydrate, to have some cycling in there that he's introduced me to now.
Okay, that's interesting. So how does
Carb
that
cycling.
look for you? Because I find that really interesting because I think it's, you know, I agree with you, and it's something that
Mhm.
I kind of intuitively do as well, and that's what I see with a lot of my clients. They eventually find this intuitive, cycling. But what are the carbs that you would eat, and how does that kind of look for you?
Well, I will cycle between low carb, high fat days, like I normally have ate, and then
Yeah.
I cycle between low carb, high protein days.
Okay.
So it's still eating meat. I'm just not eating all the fat with it. So I might have a little bit of a romaine lettuce with a piece of tilapia on it,
A piece of
and not
what?
have all the fat.
What's that?
A nice piece of fish, a nice big piece
Okay.
of fish,
Okay.
or a piece of a piece of salmon without the skin,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
eggs are still good at any time. Uh,
Yeah.
Eggs are the best food.
And is this kind of just for these last little, like, how come this hasn't been introduced? Is this just for the last little bit of, is there a bit of weight still to lose, or?
No, I don't feel like that, but the insulin, I can't
Okay.
explain the science of it very well. My insulin, my numbers were high a little bit on some days, and my
Okay.
uric acid was still a little bit high.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was at like a 8 or a 9, and now my uric
Mm.
acid levels from carb cycling is down to a 4.6.
Oh,
My
that's
C
interesting.
peptide's really low, so um,
Okay.
everything's fallen in place now from eating that way. Um, Here
Interesting.
it says what he's kind of trained me to say, and I got it right here, that low carbohydrate, the role of a low carb, high fat, low carbohydrate, high fat diet is for the treatment of insulin resistance. So that gets our body's insulin system, insulin sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my body had healed itself in that way. And so that low carb, high fat diet healed me that way. And now I'm insulin sensitive, but eating, too much fat, my body's not going to burn fat. So he's got me cycling on the days. And, this might not be for everyone, but for me, it's worked
Mm.
out beautifully.
Mm. Mm. Great.
And
And I think that's it.
it's a new concept that they're kind of, really looking into.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think
look
that's the
forward to hearing
exciting part
more.
of it. Yeah,
Look forward to hearing more
absolutely.
about it. Yeah.
But also too, I want to get into how you got into health coaching, but I think it's important to keep playing around with things, and as we change, as we adapt, it's fun to try different things
It
too and
is.
see how our body responds, and throw different things in there. I think our body can get really complacent sometimes if we just keep doing the same things over and over again. So it's kind of good to shake it up a
Yeah.
little bit when we've got that luxury. I think obviously getting to a point where we're insulin sensitive and we feel insulin, and wherever we are on our scale of metabolic health, that's always got to come into it. But if we've got that luxury of we've gotten there, and you have, which is great, and try different things as well, it's
Yeah.
excellent. Before I move on to coaching though, I'd love to get your insight around a little bit more on addiction, because I think some of the things that you said there around the thinking that you have, what's the point now, and one little bit won't
Mhm.
hurt, all these thoughts that that our brain, the addictive brain, loves to spit out. I think even people who aren't actually addicted get those thoughts as well a lot of the time. So how would you see the difference between someone who's a harmful user versus someone who is an addict when it comes to food?
Well, a harmful user, you're gonna ask them why, why are you doing this? But an addict, you're not gonna ask them why. And an addict, you need to take it away. Same as
Mm.
alcohol or drugs, you need to take away the carbohydrate because that's the drug.
Mm.
A harmful user, moderation is key because they can they can go days without it, you know.
Yeah.
So there is questions that you need to ask
Mm.
for the proper treatment. And
Mm.
I'm going to be right now. I'm finishing a certification, hopefully, to help out in that area with the sugar tool, and I'm really excited about it. So looking more into that so I can help coach people to find out whether their addiction is harmful use, social use, or actually an addiction, because there's certain questions you got to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What that is? What that sugar tool is?
Um, I don't feel comfortable right now yet because I'm not finished with all my
So next
training.
time I have
I'm
you
not
on,
training,
you
but
can share.
I would love to. I would love to. Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think it's a really important distinction, I think I remember Bitten Johnson saying that, if you, say, for example, you got put into prison for 3 months and you didn't have access to your drug, what happens when you are released? Do you, search it out straight away? That's a big sign, that
Yeah.
you just can't have that little bit. And, I think deep down we know, but, it is that acknowledgement that can be really, really hard. But, as you say, once you do, I think it just changes the pathway completely. You can actually get the help you need. And it's not what, there's so much stigma and layering around what addiction is, but, there is so much help out there.
There is, and I am just so blessed to have found this community uh to help because it's making me stronger too along the way. An awful great
Mm.
Another awesome organization is the Society of Metabolic Health Professionals, and that's how I came upon the Nutrition Network because I wanted
Okay.
to be accredited by them, which I am now. I'm very proud of it, but I used the Nutrition Network path in order to get my education for that, which led me into wanting to be a coach. So,
Yeah, awesome. So
yeah, what
when was that moment in your path, in your healing journey, that you decided you wanted to, be a coach and help people heal?
Well, pretty early on in my journey when Dr. Cywes says, "Tia, you no longer have a fatty liver," and it was only like a few months in. It was a few months in my journey, and I had been told, way back, "Oh, you'll never get rid of that. It's just a part of you. You have it, and you're stuck with it." And here he told me, "Oh, your fatty liver's gone from my blood work." You could tell.
Amazing.
So I knew right then that I needed to get the word out, that I needed to help other people um, know that they could have a choice, that there is another choice out there with therapeutic carbohydrate restriction. It's beautiful, and people
Mm,
need to know. People need to
mm,
know
mm.
they can they
So
can they can change their lives with food.
absolutely, absolutely. It drives me
Hmm.
every day. And, this is why I do what I do.
Hmm.
Um, it's not because I want to tell people what to do. Like if
No.
none of my podcasts or anything or coaching is about that, but it's just showing people there are always options. There is always options. And, this
And to
is
get the
just another
awareness.
option. Yeah.
And the awareness, being aware of it made me want to take control of it. Wow, this is healing my body. What's it going to heal next? Let's keep going. Let's see
Mm.
let's just ride it out and see what happens. And the next thing you know, uh, I'm loose of my insulin pump that I had to bring with me everywhere. I had to, take it off when I shower. Uh, it was just a part of my body. It was horrible. And I feel bad for people that have type 2 diabetes that haven't been given the choice for this, because it is reversible.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people after they have this experience, like, similar to yourself, not as dramatic, but, similar to you, and they do want to go into coaching. Talk to us about the pathway that you went down. Tell us about your journey.
Well, Dr. Cywes, again, I'm sorry I keep referencing, but he said, Tia, he said, if you want to help people, there's this great educational platform called the Nutrition Network, and you should just sign up for one of their courses, and then he said, better yet, what about the Society of Metabolic Health Professionals? You could be one. You just have to follow the Nutrition Network path, So I looked into it. I was very curious, and started taking a few classes. I took the advisor course first,
Okay.
with Nutrition Network, and
Yeah.
thought, wow, this is really great, and you could do it in your own time. Uh, I have a full-time job and kids, but I was able to do that on my own time. And there's such wonderful classes. I'm like, I want to sign up for the next thing. So then the next thing, I'm taking the professional courses, and I just kept going. And everyone I talk to that's taken any of the courses just love them, and they're just so
Mm.
great. And then after so many courses, I really was interested in actually being a coach. So signed up for the
Mm.
pilot group, which has been totally amazing. It's just changed my life forever. So Nutrition Network rocks.
Yeah. Woohoo. Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
Wow, what a great community, and the teachers are just amazing.
Yeah, I was saying to Peter in the last chat I had with him that, you know, the the amazing health transformations and all the things that happen are just unbelievable. But there's such an added benefit that you don't get from many communities, and this is this global community. And I feel so blessed that I get to meet like someone like yourself who I would never have met otherwise, right? Had it not been for low
Yeah,
carb.
I'm so
And
fortunate to have met you too.
it's
Yeah.
like that. And people just, the community is so warm and so friendly and so helpful. And they honestly just want to help people, because we've seen
Mhm.
something that you can't unsee, but also we know that we know how the possibility, we know that just with these making these changes, that yes, it looks like you're giving up so much at first, but you are gaining so much more than you're giving up.
Gaining your health. And a
Yeah.
really good teacher once told me that, um, you to get long-term behavior change, you have to take on new thoughts, new insights, new beliefs, and it's true. It's true. It's magical.
Who was that teacher?
I don't know, she's awesome. I think her name was Tracy.
Oh no, I'm gonna go bright red. How embarrassing.
Oh, no.
Um,
Yeah, and this right here is
oh,
my favorite. It's
if
my
you're
favorite.
listening, if you're listening and not
Yeah,
watching, she's holding up my
yeah,
book, which is lovely. And of
yeah,
course, I've told you all about my book, but
yeah. It's
uh,
so amazing.
look, it is, but it's like, you just have to show, what you've seen. And if you always bring it back to only what, to what you truly know,
Mhm.
you will talk from a place that is so passionate and so heartfelt. And, that's where I see with what you're doing, Tia, you are impacting more people than you ever, you couldn't possibly imagine. And, I'd
Aw.
love to know, where are you going to take it? What's next for Tia? Are you just going to try and incorporate it into the work you're doing now, or have you got other plans?
I know I got lots of possibilities right now. I haven't decided quite yet, but I sure would like to make some groups in my community to
Yeah.
help other people with addiction, like myself, and know that they do have a choice, and that it is real and it's not their fault, and they can they can change it with help. So that's one thing I'd like to work on first.
Yeah, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
I've been coaching some people in the community too, and I've had some
Yeah,
really good testimonies already. So
of course.
so
Oh,
I'm really excited
imagine
about it.
being coached by you. I think I mean, you've lived it. You're so warm and compassionate. And one of the things that people have felt who have been unwell or overweight or just unhealthy so much of their life is this judgment from others, and like
Mhm.
you just ooze compassion.
Oh,
And I just would I keep going, keep sharing, keep being you. And if anyone is lucky enough to be coached by you, they will have their life changed.
oh, I hope so. Thank you so much, and I've learned so much from you. So
You're
thank you
sweet.
for everything. I've had so many insights on healing and your thinking process. So, just taking on the concept that a thought, it's just like the clouds in the sky. They just pass by. I mean,
Yeah,
really, that's
it's
amazing.
I know, and it's what really like
Yeah, you
it's
don't have to
so
catch on. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to grab it and make it
yeah,
real.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What a concept, life changing.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, I'd love you to wrap it up. One of the questions I love to ask
Okay.
my guests is just, I know you've shared so many little insights and words of wisdom, but what would be one piece of advice you could give to anyone listening that, really might be inspired to take that first step after listening to you?
Well, if I can do it, anybody can. So you just have to take on the new beliefs and the new insights and give it a shot because it will heal your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't happen
Yeah.
overnight
And
though,
it's
does it?
no, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's the biggest thing for me as
Yeah.
I thought it was my fault and it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. What a treat. Thank you so, so
Mm.
much for making the time to come and talk to us today. It's been such a pleasure. And when you're finished with that sugar and you're ready to come and share, or what
I'll
that's all
be
about.
ready. I will.
Well,
All right. Well, thank you,
I'm gonna,
Tracy.
oh, of course, darling, but I've got
Okay.
below all your details if anyone wants to connect with you. Certainly, if
Okay.
you're close, tell where you're in Illinois, you said?
Yeah, I'm in Illinois
Yeah.
in the United
Yeah.
States. Yeah,
Yeah.
Southern
Beautiful.
Illinois. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cold.
But
It's cold here.
and I was just saying, I did a little thing for my Instagram. I haven't posted it yet, but it's been so hot here, like really, really hot for days and days and days, and really humid.
Oh,
And I just can't sleep. Like I don't sleep well. No one sleeps well in the
yeah.
heat. But
I'm ready for some heat.
yeah, that's what gives it. We'll take a little bit of yours, and you can have a
Yeah,
little bit of ours.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for today.
Oh,
And
you're
it's always
welcome. It
good to
was
see
was
you.
such a gift. Thank you, darling.
Okay.